also thank you guys for coming out to watch our film. We appreciate it. Is there any questions?
First of all, thank you so much for choosing us. Thank you so much for coming here all the way from the Bahamas. That's fantastic. And may I say that I'm so proud of this film, and especially because two of the main actors are from Haitian origin. Anyway, I know two of them.
They're Asian.
They're Haitian, yeah, exactly. And Jessica Geneus and Jimmy Jean-Louis, and they've been fans of this festival, and one of which I played with. But anyway, it's not about that. It's about your great film. So thank you so much. Did you enjoy the film like I did?
Yeah.
Amazing. So I know you guys have tons of questions. I'm gonna throw the first one. Why this theme? Why this film? Because it's not your first time, not the first time you're talking about migration and those kind of stories. I think actually you did a short film before that I think I got to see. And you were talking about the same subject. So why is this a recurring subject for you?
So I made a short film a few years ago called Passage. That's a short version of this, but the feature was written before that, and it was just a way to drum some support for this project that we wanted to do. I live in the Bahamas, and I am Caribbean, and so Caribbean, we kind of move between places, even though that was quite challenging. And one of the first memories I ever saw was I was watching the news with my mother, and I saw the dead bodies of some people that had washed up on the shore because they were locked in a hold of a ship. And I had never been able to forget that image, and that's an image that's still recurring 25 years later. And there's no sort of real in-depth, human face behind it. And so that's why I wanted to tell the story, because I'm interested in that, and I think that there's a perspective that needs to be shared.
Why these actors? These wonderful actors. Why Jimmy Jean-Louis? Why Jessica Geneus? They're great, actually. Why them?
Okay, so Jimmy is a friend of mine as well. I met Jimmy about 7 or 8 years ago in Trinidad. I met him 7 years. I was like, Jimmy, you need to be in this movie that I'm doing. And he said yes. And then I was like, I need, it's important to me that it's authentic as possible. And I would like to have a Haitian actress. And he was like, the only one I'm going to work with this film is Jessica Genius. And so I auditioned Jessica, and she was amazing. And she was cast.
Oh, wow, she is. Would you tell me your experience working on that film? How did that relationship come about? How did you end up being the producer of this movie?
Well, that's a long story, and I don't think we have so much time. Well, let's put it in short. For Kareem, I think at the time when I met him, which is like 5 years now ago, was a turning point in his career to have finished Cargo and many other scripts actually. And seeing in the Bahamas, how can I continue as a filmmaker, and what's my outlook? And the first thing you always think about film is about the writing and having a good story, but the second part right after is how can I finance it? So we had to come up with an idea that is sustainable, and for such a powerful story, and to be also brave to cast that way, to be authentic in the industry that we are in, where it is all about how can you sell this movie afterwards. So we had to make a couple of different decisions also about shooting in the Bahamas or somewhere else. And there's a lot to tell, but it's really about a friendship between the two of us, and sharing a vision of that if you're authentic and true to yourself, you are successful and you don't have to compromise. So through the whole project, there's many challenges to go to such a venture. I think our friendship became much, much stronger, and also seeing for me as a Austrian Egyptian moving to the Bahamas, getting to know the Bahamas through the project. We've been in 36 different locations all over Nassau, being in the Haitian village. This is all not staged, we shot in real location. It gives you much more appreciation about this beautiful place and seeing what's really happening, what's really going on. And people also in our country, I call it now also my country, really appreciate the authenticity that we committed to tell the story.
I have tons of questions, but I know you have too, so you do too. So I'm gonna, this is your time. Let's
Please.
go. Yes?
One question only. I would like to know, first of all, I want to congratulate you on this great movie. Actually, I was really moved by it. My question is, is there going to be another sequel to this one that just happened?
We always, so it was a very serious topic. We always talked about it. I don't think personally I won't direct the sequel to it, but maybe somebody, I'd love to write it. You know, there's so much more to tell about Cillian's story in particular. Like what happens to her when she gets to where she's going, and how does she reconstruct her life? That's a very, that brings up that's a whole set of new issues and new drama, and that's interesting. I personally don't have plans for a sequel, but I thank you for that suggestion.
Well, I'm just saying that what we are working on right now is, besides the theatrical release and bringing this film to many people as possible, we're also working on an educational package. So there is not a sequel, but what we're going to do is we're going to interview in the Bahamas patients that went through such experience to tell their story in front of the camera, and we'll translate that into pictures for a book and also for a short featurette that we're going to bring together for the educational packages to universities and schools all over Haitian diaspora. So this is what we are working on, which maybe is going to what you were asking.
Definitely. I'm glad that you pointed out, because immigrations in the Caribbean is something that's really, it's a big subject, and if you guys could bring that to the world and the bigger picture, understand more, there's a lot more we could do together. Appreciate that very much.
Thank you.
Somebody else over there? I saw somebody raising their hands there.
Please feel free every
Yes.
question.
I loved the movie,
Thank you.
but made me very sad. And now, what do we do? You've been to movies, we've seen it. What can we do? It's happening there, it's happening in the border of Mexico, it's happening in Europe, it's happening everywhere. What can we do?
What I hope we can do is we can change our mindset, and we change the language that we use when we talk about migration and immigration, and that we see that it's a human right to go to where resources are. And the way that we talk about migration is oftentimes very inhumane, like in the public discourse, without knowledge of that people just want to do what's best for their family. And so the film may not provide solutions for people moving, but hopefully it moves us, that when we hear like crazy stuff that people use to protect whatever they're trying to protect, that we stop that conversation and realize that, you know, it's a human right to go where resources are. That's what I hope.
So we need to have a lot of people to see the movie.
Yes.
So they can get conscious.
It's like we get this question actually at every screening, I think, and I always kind of feel a little bit hesitant to really give an answer, because I think it's such a huge topic, and I don't want to make a political statement, but it's reaching out to your own community, seeing what's happening in your reality around you, and making people aware of it, and maybe using the film as well to recommend to get people aware, because it's about awareness, as Corinne just said, getting people to start to reflect. And I think we're all wise enough to know how we really we can treat each other, but we might don't think about it anymore, and we take it for granted that we judge people. We call, as it is in the film, like there's a judgment of Jamaican about Haitian, and you don't even think about it. This is actually what you inflict on someone else if you say it that way. So this is the way I answer the question so far. If there's anything else I can think of, we will definitely also share, and we're using all the tools we have with the social media as well to engage a lot of people, to bring in ideas and to have conversations, and we hope to provide a kind of a platform through the social media that is accessible for us, for people to talk about the subject.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'd like to know how tough it was for you to put that together, since writing the story and then putting everything together, the money and everything else. Was it more difficult to put the funding together and everything else?
So I'll talk about the writing, and Alice can talk a little bit more about the funding. The choice and obviously the production, right? So the choice that we face as writers and filmmakers is how do we be authentic? Like we're talking about like people's lives, we're talking about communities, and that was the challenge for me, and I leaned heavily on Jessica and Jimmy to make sure that I was representing and the community that we shot in accurately and sensitively. That was a challenge. It took me a long time to write. I don't speak Creole sometimes, so I wrote it in English, and I was just like, I hope they're saying what's written, but they do. And you know, it took 7 years to bring to fruition. We raised money for about 4 years, but it took me 7 years, and I wrote it, like I said, I wrote it before the short. So, yeah, it was a 7-year process.
Wow.
Well, the finance, I don't want to bore you too much about the details. Some of you might be interested, but this is the biggest production, not on Bahamian soil. There have been studios coming and using it as a location, but it's the biggest Bahamian production, authentic Bahamian film. So we're very proud about that too, which puts us, like, it's a film above $1 million budget. And where we are in the Bahamas is at a spot where there's such a rich culture, there's so much stories to tell, but there is no understanding of the value of telling it through the medium of film. So we had many conversations with the government, which were very supportive during the production itself in terms of tourism and whatnot. Like, they helped us, but financially there is things in place, but nothing went through. So we had to finance this film entirely private, which is, for everybody who ever made a film knows, that is the worst situation you can be in. Because every investor knows how the reality is with film. So like, if you have 100% private equity, we had to explain that to them, and we created a big structure for a slate of film to, since we have more stories to tell, to continue. This is what the investors put their money into for us to be able. But it was a long time to also explain people that Bahamian stories can be for a worldwide audience, and that the quality of our production can be also for worldwide distribution. That is something nobody believed, even though we got them the money, but they actually did not really believe in that, I guess. So we hopefully proved them wrong now. And I think from there, that's why it's very important for us also that Cargo is seen for what it really is, from what place it comes from, and what was the struggle to actually pull it off.
Knowing that the government in the Bahamas, they're trying all they can to make people know that the Bahamas, it's a paradise, it's tourism, it's beautiful, and everything is perfect, and then resorts and everything else. Did you guys encounter any pushback or any difficulty when you said to the government or to elected officials that, hey, we're working on the other side of what's going on in the Bahamas?
I think so. Several reasons, and I could tell a harsh story. If I have permission to tell a harsh story.
Yeah.
So I had gone to the government, and I had gone to someone I thought that was a friend that would petition for us, and I was like, well, we need some help, and he had expressed that nobody would want to watch a movie about a bunch of Haitians in the boat. That's what he told me, and I called Alex. I was really upset, and I was just like, because no one had directly told us why we weren't getting support. They would just give us the runaround, and I think that's how racism and like xenophobia works. Like, I guess not in this age, Donald Trump and everything, but like, nobody really told us like what the reason was. They were like, oh, we're just trying to figure out what's happening. Then I got that response. So, yeah, there was pushback, but it wasn't a direct pushback.
Has this film been shown in the Bahamas yet? And if yes, how did people receive it?
That's part of our strategy in order to sustain and to continue this journey. We're going to have a special gala night. That's how we're going to start now. So it has not been shown in the Bahamas yet publicly. We had 1 or 2 screenings, exclusive screenings, but now we're going to have the first public screening. And we have been in festivals, and some of our Bahamian friends came to the screenings, and the reactions were very positive and very appreciative for what we did. And this is going to happen in 3 weeks, so we're really looking forward to show it to the people.
3 weeks today.
3 weeks today, right? Yeah.
Fantastic. have a question over there, and we have another one later here.
Firstly, congratulations on having such a diverse cast.
Thank you.
I think there are British people in that, some American and Asian, Korean actors. My question to you is how, I'm not sure that what kind of acting union there is in the Bahamas, but how did,
Yeah, we were a SAG signatory so SAG became involved because we have SAG actors in the film. Like Jimmy is in SAG, obviously. So if Jimmy works in your movie, you have to sign on to SAG.
And you have another one.
And we have and Omar is also in SAG. So that's just how they're involved. And so because they're in that union, no matter where they work, we have to become a signatory for them to work on our film.
and so I'm assuming Warren is SAG as well.
I don't.
Our casting.
Warren is English, and I think he's working primarily at that time. He's working primarily in the UK, so I don't think that was an issue for us.
Yeah, we had casting director for those, and we had also casting director in the Bahamas. So there was two separate, obviously, and so for Bahamian cast, that was not applicable. So that made it easier.
Wow, that was something. Working with unions is not easy.
No.
Oh, they're telling me one last question, and that's it. Throw your questions over there, and then shoot your question too.
Just want to know why kill the Jamaican girl? Just for the money, or was it? I mean, I just.
So, in my mind, she doesn't get killed. She get hit by a car. She gets hit by a car as an accident, and this is what this guy does after she's hit by a car. That's just happened. That's just something that happened to her character. You know, it pushes the story in another direction.
Yeah.
So that's the reason.
My question will be, when can we have this movie in DVD format or buy it on iTunes so we can have parties at home showing our friends too?
Good question. Encourage.
At home.
Yeah, I encourage everybody to follow us, keep following us. The way we're doing distribution is a little bit different than before. We've been to Cannes and Berlin, but we decided to do our own distribution. So we're working on creating a Caribbean platform where we can stream the film ourselves, so that for us it empowers us in the way of how we distribute. So it's going to happen probably in the middle of next year. So, but I encourage you to follow us on our social media platforms. There
What is your
you're
social
gonna see.
media platform?
On Facebook, it's Cargo the Film. There you will find all the information collectively about the production company, what we're doing, what Kareem is doing. You can follow him there. All the links will lead from the Facebook page Cargo the Film.
I just want to know what my only problem is with thank you, the Kevin character. So how did you want to present him? Like a good man in bad situation or a bad man in bad situation?
So Kevin is a flawed character, a heavily flawed character, and it's about how sometimes someone can be very awful, right? But they don't know it, and they keep on this downward spiral. And I was presenting that sort of complex character, because that's how human beings are, you know. And so that's what I was trying to portray with that, and that's why he kills himself at the end, because he realizes that he's not a great guy, and the only way to end that is to remove himself from that situation. So that's what I'm presenting him as, is just like a human person that does bad things, you know, and he realizes it at the end.